Hello friends, today we try to add an animation or transition when we go from the welcome screen to the login screen. So for now I will add some callback to go back to the previous screen because I'm doing this on Linux. There is no back button. So let's do that in the login screen. For example, we can wrap this text and call navigator of context pop to go back. This is the text. Let's wrap it in GestureDetector. And on top we call pop. Save it and try. It goes back to the welcome screen. So at the moment there's no much going on when we switch the screens. Let's check what we can do about it. In the welcome screen we have this login button. Where is it? Where is it? It is here. By default we use MaterialPageRoute to go to the login screen. On Android it will show the new screen from the bottom of the page, but on desktop it just switches immediately to the new screen. So we can try and see how it looks in the emulator. I'll start it quickly and show you after a short break. Okay, the emulator is running. Let's start the app on the emulator. The app started, so we press login and go to the welcome back screen where we can log in. And now you can see the new page shows up from the bottom of the screen. That's the default behavior of MaterialPageRoute. So let's experiment with that. We can change it to CupertinoPageRoute. We need to import Cupertino. And CupertinoPageRoute is the default behavior for iOS apps. Let's see how it looks in action. Now the page slides from the right and goes back to the right when we pop the screen. Let's see if it changed on the desktop. Yeah. Instead of using Cupertino or MaterialPageRoute, we can use our own transition to go from one screen to another. To do that we need a PageRouteBuilder. And PageRouteBuilder takes parameter PageBuilder. To see the options for that we can press Ctrl space. You can see it takes 3 parameters: context, animation and secondary animation. And in here we need to return the page we are going to transition. So in our case it will be login screen. Let's save it and see how it looks like now. So it by default it just immediately goes between pages. Nothing exciting. So how can we make it more interesting? First let's move this to a function. And we can edit if there is function code in here and see the effects. So PageRouteBuilder also has all these parameters. First of all, we need transition builder. It takes context, animation, secondary animation, and a child. We must return child. So far nothing changed, that's expected. Because we need to add some animation. So instead of returning child, let's return, for example, FadeTransition. Opacity. As opacity we can provide animation, which is just a double, which will change when the animation runs from 0 to 1. So our opacity will be from 0 to 1. First transparent and at the end fully opaque. Child. And now we can see the pages slowly fades in and out when we change them. In PageRouteBuilder we can add duration, transition duration, to see how it works. Let's set 2 seconds 1. This can be const. Let's see the difference. When we click login and go to the next page, it will take 1 second. But going back will take only 300 milliseconds, as that the default values. But we can change that duration as well. Reverse transition duration. Let's copy the same value and check. So it takes 1 second to go from one page to the other and 1 second to go back. Now instead of fade transition we can use some other type of transition. For example, scale. Scale does not have opacity. Instead we can use scale. It will animate as well from 0 to 1. Let's see how it works. So we can see the next page zooms in when we go there and zooms out when we go back to the first page. Let's try maybe rotate, rotation, transition. Need to change that to turns. Let's see how it looks like now. Interesting effect, maybe not very practical. There's also slide transition. We don't use turns, but position. Now we have an error because this animation is of type double, but position expects the type offset. So how can we go about it? Let's control click the slide transition and we can see the source code with some examples. So here is the slide transition example and position offset animation. Where is offset animation? This is the offset animation. It takes twin of type offset and animates it. So let's do something like it. So in position we can put twin of type offset. We need begin, offset 0.0 and maybe 0.0 at now, and end. Maybe 0.0 and 1.0. We'll see what will happen. Need animate, parent will be animation. Both offsets can be const. Let's save it and see how it will work. The app disappeared, so we need to change the offset. So I believe the end should be 0, 0 and begin maybe 1, 0. Yeah, so we can see the new page comes from the bottom and goes back. Let's change it, for example, to 1.0. Now we can see the page goes from the right. So if we change it to -1, it should be from the left. And we have 1 should be diagonal. Yeah. So let's use it from the right for now. Remember, we changed the duration, that's why it takes so long. I want to show you something else. How can we use the hero widget to animate the elements of the page across the screen? Because now the whole screen slides over. But we want, for example, the login button to animate from here to here. In order to do that, we need to wrap the login button in the hero widget. Hero, it needs tag. We need to do the same on the login screen. So we want to wrap this button in the hero widget as well. We need to remember the tag value must be the same for both widgets. So in here we used login button, and in here we also need to do the same. Let's see what happens. You see, the login button animates across the pages. We can also wrap the row with the social media buttons and animate them as well, and maybe the image as well. Let's start with the image. This is the image. Wrap with hero. Image on the welcome screen as well. And next, these social media buttons. We've got them here. So let's wrap the row. Social buttons. The same on the login screen. This is our row with buttons. Hero, tag, social buttons. And see how it does behave now. So you can see the login button animates these buttons as well, and the image somehow changes as well. The image is different on both pages, that's why the effect is not so great. Let's change the duration or remove. Quite interesting effect. I can show you as well how to animate the text in the hero widget. For example, we can animate this welcome text from here to the welcome bag in here. So let's find the text, wrap it with hero, we can move constant to here, and on the login screen as well we need to welcome back, wrap it with hero, and let's see what will happen. You've noticed the text for a second became red. I show you this with the longer transition. You see when the text goes from one screen to the other, it turns to red. What can we do to fix it? So the easy way is to wrap the text in the material widget. And see the difference. When it animates, we can see the small rectangle around the welcome widget, around the welcome text. To remove that, we can use material type transparency. Let's copy. And save and see the difference. Now there's no like a white rectangle around the text. Let's remove the duration, save it. So we've got this interesting animation effect. You can experiment with your own as well. I'll commit this code. Add. I'll push the code to the GitHub and you can see where is it in the video description. That's all for this series. I tried to do something more interesting for the next video. Thank you and bye.